All right, here we are. We're at round one, Invertebrates of the Land. This is big. We've got 8 more battles here between big-time competitors. We got 16 different competitors that are going to be battling here, and you guys are going to get to see some of the results. I'm doing a lot of the videos. I'm sorry if they're not crazy awesome animated, but you can see a few of our students' videos that are out of this world fantastic. So big thank you to all of them for all the effort they put into this. All right, so after these, we're going on to round 2. I'll be running those tonight, and then we're going to see where we go from there. And we're heading towards that winner, the ultimate champion of Invertebrate Insanity 2020. Stay tuned, here we go.
For the first battle for Invertebrate Insanity 2020, we have the orchid mantis and the sphinx moth going against each other. For the first round, card number 7 was picked, which is exoskeleton versus no exoskeleton. For both of the invertebrates, there was no information, so they each lose a point. Next card that was picked was card number 13, which is large versus small. There's no information on the orchid mantis, so it loses a point. But for the sphinx moth, it gains a point because it's smaller. Next card was card number 26, which is Head Out and Hunt versus Let's Wait and See. Both gain 1 point because they both look for food. Next card pick was card number 5, which is Nocturnal versus Diurnal. The moth gets minus 1 point because it's nocturnal, but the mantis also gets minus 1 point because there's no known information. Last card pick was card number 4. Both invertebrates have wings, so they both lose a point. The final score was the orchid mantis dead with -3 points and the sphinx moth with -1 point, so it wins the battle and moves on to round 2.
TT Fly, Saddleback Caterpillar, round 1, division number 3. We're in the grasslands. It's nighttime. First card's flipped. Both of the organisms do not spend their time hunting, so they both gain a point. Moving on to the next card. Neither of them are recyclers. Therefore, they both lose the point they just gained, both to 0 now. Moving on to the third card. The TT Fly has a parasitic relationship. It is a bloodsucker, after all, and it loses no points. The Saddleback Caterpillar, on the other hand, does not have the number of legs known, so it loses a point. It's a weird card. You'd have to check it out to understand it. The fourth card flip, number 48. The smallest geographic range is the winner, and in this case, the TT Fly has the smallest geographic range. The larger geographic range goes to the Saddleback Caterpillar, and it loses the point. We have +1 for the TT Fly, -2 for the Saddleback Caterpillar. Next card is a natural disaster, 8L. Neither of them need rotting matter in order to survive or to live in, so neither of them lose a point. Leaves us at the same score. On to our last card. This is the big one. Neither of them are venomous. Although the Saddleback Caterpillar has poisonous spines, it is not venomous. They both lose the point. That brings the TT Fly to 0, and that brings us to -3 for the Saddleback Caterpillar. It is dead. TT Fly goes around 2 with 0 points.
Hello and welcome back to another round 1 of Invertebrates Insanity. Here we have the Devil's Flower Mantis versus the Miami Tiger Beetle. The setting for this interesting battle is one cool desert night. We pull a card to determine these animals' fate. Do either of them build a home? Neither of them do, so they both get +1 points. Next card is drawn, and neither of their cards say if they have an exoskeleton, so they both decrease by 1 point. Card number 3 is drawn and asks for the size of the invertebrate. In this case, it was on the Devil Flower Mantis card, so they lost a point, but the Miami Tiger Beetle did have it, so they got 1 point. The next card that was pulled was Benefits to Humanity. The Devil Flower Mantis didn't have any benefits, so it lost another point, leaving them at -2 points. The Tiger Beetle helps with ant population, therefore getting another point, putting them at +2 points. The fifth card is a natural disaster card, which card is a drought. The Miami Tiger Beetle already lives in a desert-like climate, but the mantis does not, so it loses 1 more point. The Devil Flower Mantis is now at -3 points, which means it is out of the competition. The Miami Tiger Beetle walks away from the battle with +2 points to go against the Bombard Beetle in round 2.
We've got the Bombardier Beetle, that's a scary one, versus the Giant Weta, Division 3, Invertebrates of the Land, round 1. Pond, shoreline, and it is nighttime. Neither of these creatures eat recycled matter, so they both lose a point on the first card. The second card gets flipped, and the super strong teeth of the Bombardier Beetle gives it an extra point, bringing it to 0, and the short little fangs of the Weta, or the tiny little things, are not particularly strong, and they lose another point, so they're at -2. Card 3 is flipped. The bombardier beetle hunts for its food at night, therefore it loses the point. The other guy doesn't hunt, the Weta, and it does not lose a point, but gains one. They're both at -1 now. Neither of these creatures are beneficial, so on the fourth card, they both lose a point, at least beneficial to us human beings. We're kind of picky, though, aren't we? -2 for both organisms. The fifth card is the natural disaster card. Although the bombardier beetle can fly, it doesn't fly very much, but it still doesn't lose any points. The big old massive giant Weta can jump, but it doesn't fly. It loses the point. It is dead. The Weta is a deada, and the bombardier beetle goes on to round number 2, but only with -2 points. Invertebrates of the land, round 1, hobo spider versus the southern black widow. We're in division number 4, folks. The temperate force during the day. Sounds a lot like Massachusetts. The first card is flipped, and the hobo spider sits and waits for its prey along with the black widow. They both gain the point. The next card is flipped. Nocturnal for the hobo spider, and we're looking for diurnal or cathemeral, and in this case it loses the point, but the southern black widow is cathemeral, so therefore it doesn't lose a point. We've got +1 for the black widow and 0 for the hobo spider. The greater range card is flipped next, number 44, and the greater range goes to the hobo spider. It's found even in Europe and in Western United States. That's +1 and 0 now for the little southern black widow. Moving on to the fourth card. Neither of them have quick escape parts to make it to get away from predators, so they both lose a point. We're at 0 for the hobo spider. Yeah, that's it. And we're at -1 for the black widow. The next card is a natural disaster. Neither of them rely on rotting woods and leaves, so therefore the hobo spider is still at 0, and the southern black widow is at -1. This is a big game. This is a big round here. Neither of them are in a perfect habitat, so they both lose a point, bringing the hobo spider to -1 and the black widow to -2. The next one's flipped. Both are venomous. They both gain the point. The next card's flipped. Neither will eat their mate. Neither of them lose a point. The ninth card is flipped, and the hobo spider only produces 30 offspring, so it loses the point. The one that produces greater offspring is the winner, and that's the black widow with +1 points. The natural disaster card is flipped next. This is for our 10th card, and the exoskeleton of the hobo spider does a good job protecting it, and there's no information on the exoskeleton of the black widow. 11th card flipped. Neither of them directly benefit humans, so they both gain a point in this case. Card 46 is flipped. Can't adapt to temperature changes, so the hobo spider sadly kicks the bucket, -1, and the black widow is very good at adapting to temperature changes, +1. Moving on. Both of them make their own web, so they both gain a point. In the 14th card, neither of them have extrasensory parts, so this way they both gain a point for not wasting energy. And the final card is the natural disaster. Neither of them have wings. They both lose a point, and that brings our score for the hobo spider +2 and the southern black widow 0.
Okay, so today we have a battle between the American dogtick and the Death Stalker scorpion. Ooh, what a name. Now, since neither ate plants, both of them lost a point. And since neither of them can change color, they lost another point. But since both can be on high alert, they both gained one. Since we were having this battle in the desert, which is the Death Stalker's home, he gained a point while the American dogtick did not. And also, since the scorpion is beneficial to humans and the dogtick isn't, the dogtick lost points while the scorpion gained. And also, since Death Stalker scorpions eat the male and American dogticks don't, the American dogtick lost.
Hello everyone, I'm Addison's servant, reporting back with another battle. This time we have the peacock jumping spider against the redback spider. This battle is taking place in the Arctic tundra at night. Now let's start the battle. First off, these invertebrates need to be able to make homes/webs. The redback spider has already started, but the peacock spider unfortunately doesn't make webs. The score is redback spider 1, but peacock spider -1. Next off is size. What animal is bigger? The peacock spider won this round, so it's a tie, 0-0. Next round. Invertebrates that lay thousands of eggs are not always good. Invertebrates with less than 1,000 eggs get a point. The peacock spider won this round with 6 eggs, so the redback spider has an unknown amount of eggs, so the peacock spider has 1, while the redback spider has -1. Next round. Mating rituals are good to find a mate, but for now, all invertebrates need to focus on the game. Both spiders lose a point. The score is peacock spider 0, redback spider -2. Wait, what's this? Breaking news? There's a flood. Neither of the spiders can swim. That leaves the redback spider dead, and the peacock spider goes to round 2 with -1 point.
All right, we've got a big battle here between the daring jumping spider and the Chilean rose-haired tarantula in division number 4. We're in the rainforest during the day. Both of these spiders are venomous, so they both gained a point for the first card. We're on to the second card. No sensory organs for the daring jumping spider, so it loses that point it just gained, while the other creature, the Chilean rose-haired tarantula, detects motion with its hairs and it gains a point. The daring jumping spider do hunt their prey, so it gains another point there, and so does the Chilean rose-haired tarantula with another point. We're at now +3 for the Chilean rose-haired tarantula. The fourth card flip. Both organisms are actually very beneficial to us humans. They destroy cotton moths, the daring jumping spider, which is good for cotton, of course, and the crop-eating insects are destroyed by the Chilean rose-haired tarantula. We're now +2, +4. +2 for the daring jumping spider and +4 for the Chilean rose-haired tarantula. Natural disaster card is flipped, and neither of them rely on rotting logs or leaves. This card keeps coming up with these guys. +2 still and +4. Now we're on to the sixth card. Neither has a hard exoskeleton. They both lose the point. The next card is flipped. The first creature, the daring jumping spider, is diurnal and it gains the point. And there was no information on the Chilean rose-haired tarantula's day or night preferences. They lose the point. We're tied at +2. The eighth card is flipped, and the coolest thing with that rose-haired tarantula, it can flick its hairs out in order to avoid predators, while the daring jumping spider just tries jumping away. +1 for the tarantula. The size was not mentioned of the daring jumping spider. It's pretty tiny, though. Would have been good if it mentioned it, because the smaller creature gets the point in this case. The tarantula takes it, being almost 5.5 inches wide, and that's really big. And that's +1 for that, just because I had the numbers in there. Neither of them have a hard exoskeleton, so they both lose a point with the natural disaster card. And then they both lay less than 1,000 eggs, so they both gained a point in this case, so not wasting energy laying too many eggs. The showing off of the colorful legs and making courtship displays by the tarantula, they both lose a point for wasting their time trying to court females, not just accepting the fact that maybe they're not as good looking as they thought. Neither one is poisonous, so neither are poisonous, so they both lose a point there. They're both venomous. Neither has mutualistic relationships, so they didn't lose any points there. And finally, it's a long one here. We're at -2 for the daring jumping spider, +2 for the rose-haired tarantula. The organism that burrows here does not lose the point, and the rose-haired tarantula does burrow, while the daring jumping spider does not. The daring jumping spider is dead. The rose-haired tarantula moves on to round 2 with +2 points.